Yes, Mama.
Hi, Burna, how are you? I'm looking for Mama Burna. It's not you I'm looking for. You know, her face fine past your own. Well, thank you so much for joining us and trying to be part of change the world into a better place. That's the struggle.
Thank you
That's
so
the
much. It's an
struggle.
honor. It's an honor.
You did amazing. We're very proud of you. I've been showing this to everybody, and just as a Nigerian, I can show off.
Thank you very much, man.
Well done, well done. So tell me, what did you think? What did you think of it and the whole idea around, how we're supposed to come out and lend your voice to trying to make a change?
Man, it's amazing, man. It's something that is a long time, it's a long time coming. I wish we saw things this way for, before now. I wish
Well,
it didn't take a coronavirus and all this for us to see all this.
yeah. Well, we see the coronavirus as perhaps it's an opportunity that, God has said, okay, you need to do some reflection
Yeah.
and to really think about the way we do things. And that if we had to recover, we have to do it in a different way, different leadership, just really basically changing things. What are the things that matter to you most? What do you think is the biggest change that we should be thinking about?
Ourselves.
Yes, from the inside out.
Yes, ourselves is the most important change, because
Uh-huh.
we can blame our leaders as much as we want, but who put them there? you know.
Yeah.
So the problem must start with us, that we must be the ones really with the problem. So we need to check ourselves and fix ourselves, and we need to find ourselves and understand ourselves, because I can't really say with confidence that we know truly who we are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All we know is what we have been told to be.
Yeah.
And it's like, and our concept of what is cool and what is what we should do is not something that comes from us.
Mm.
Unfortunately, it comes from a setting that, like, from you watch TV and think, okay, this one we want to be American, or we want to be, that's the first problem. We all want to leave.
Yeah. Well, it's a shame that we think about it that way, because we have so much to give.
Yeah.
If only we would, as you say, find yourself and then be the change, as Gandhi once said. But it has to start from home. You're right. We were talking about how one comes to end gender-based violence, which has increased in this time of COVID. I always used to know at home, okay, we had gender-based violence, but I was shocked when I would learn that in Latin America, it's not just the violence against women. They die, they kill them, and they don't even recognize that it is a murder. When I realized how much violence there was, I thought, well, there's no amount of law that is going to bring an end. It can help, but if you are not asking yourself and your family, what is it that makes you raise a hand against a woman that essentially you are born from? Because there's nobody that is not born of a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they're the ones to suffer at the hands of men with violence. And so, again, back to your thought, we need to think about it internally. It's not a fight about others. It's about our own values, our own beliefs of what it means to have a peaceful world. If there's no peace in the home, how can there be peace in the society?
Yeah, and it's like, how can there be peace in the home when the foundation of the home is not solid enough? It's not a foundation that is based off of your reality.
Mm-hmm.
We need foundations based off of our own reality. We need our history teachers in school to teach our own history. We need the roots of the roots of our understanding to be solid, to be so solid that no one can tell us anything about us. We should tell you about us. You cannot come and tell me somebody discovered something here and I've lived here.
My story is my story, not yours.
Yeah. So I mean,
Well,
we really need to find ourselves and take charge of ourselves.
Well, that's a really good message, and I know it's coming through your music. I'm really impressed that what you also do is, as an equal collaborator, you know, I've seen you with incredible people like Yusuf Ndur, I've seen you with Chris Martin, and so what you're really telling people is that, as you said, we come from somewhere, we are somebody, and we can do it. Exactly. And so I think that gives a great sense of someone who feels very comfortable in their skin, who's ready to lead. Because as you said, leadership comes not just from our leaders, it comes from within, identifying who you are. Well, how do you think, I know it's, you know, the SDGs may be new to you, but they're global goals that people often think they came from somewhere, probably, you know, New York and the United Nations, but we spent 4 years having a discussion about what goals do we need to have that will galvanize the world to do what is right, and not what is a band-aid. Because, you know, as you said, you have to think inherently, is your economy actually using the revenues that it gets, or the resources that it gets, to benefit lives of people, and to allow them not to take a handout, but to take that handshake that allows them aspire their own pathway, so that the environment is enabling. That, you know, I don't have to say there's no power or there's no water, or I can't, you know, the road is not passable. And so even if I wanted a business, I couldn't do it. And so the goals, if you look at them, and I hope you have some time to look at them, I think that they're very worth advocating to our governments, to our parliaments that are democracy and progress, to people who individually and collectively don't need to wait for government, because they can make change where they are. But if I was to ask you, how do you think you would pass the message of supporting collective action? Imagine we're in Nigeria now. We have a multiplicity of problems, but we have more opportunities than problem. At least I believe in my country we have more opportunity than problem. But we're very quick to point to government as the problem. So how would you speak to the community to, you know, take their own actions, to take their own future, and be responsible for it?
I mean, that's really what I've been trying to do from the beginning of my career. You know, is pass that message there. And what I've come to discover is, you know, especially from the youth, our youth, you know, is that they feel this sense of severe oppression. Do you understand? In the sense that, like for example, right? There's no, right now, I don't think there's anybody that will go walk it up to in Port Harcourt, anybody that's my age, yeah, and I'll ask them, sorry, not my age, like the younger generation, and I'll ask them, look, what do you want to be? Everybody that wants to be a musician or a politician.
Or wants a contract.
That's it. Do you understand? Nobody's like, there's nothing, nobody thinks of anything more, because this is what our older generation and our leaders have showed us that is the way. And now we have to look at that and we see it as the only way, forgetting that, you know, it's not only somebody that sells cow that makes money, you can sell chicken too.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. No, I had a great experience in Rivers, in Bayelsa, because I did the Ogoni program. And, you know, what was really shocking to me was that no matter what we did with the Ogoni program, you might as well just pour money into the oil or into the pollution, because many of them, the sense of entitlement, not to repair the environment, because tomorrow morning they go and they will cook the oil and sell it, but no sense of ownership of the environment, and that they were destroying it for a generation, because you can't clean that place up. I mean, Ogoni is like a very small island in the midst of, you know, pollution across the Niger Delta. And I was really thinking about, how do you mobilize, you know, young people to think about the future? And maybe what it is to show them other parts of Nigeria. That's what I thought. But when I showed them, then it was, yes, that's because you have taken the money from here, and so you can have a better, you know, Nigeria in I don't know, in Ibadan or somewhere like that. But the truth of the matter is that,
but that's, as far as they're concerned, that is their reality, because They're seeing it as, okay, why don't we just mess up this whole place and get what we can get? Because these people are going to come and mess it up anyway, and then we're not going to get nothing. Do you understand? And that's the life they've seen. So it's so hard now. It's the most difficult task now to tell them that this is not the way. You can't cut off your nose to spite your face, you know? But like at the end of the day, what else, what's the solution you're going to give them to, you know? Because I've seen this, like, and it's so emotional for me, you know? So, I mean, it's something I take upon myself, and I try my best to show my people, you know, that the best ways, and that there's so many other ways, and there's so much you can do, you know, and like you have to find what is you and what you love to do, and just take that to the world. You know, you don't have to, like, the world is so much bigger than what you see, you know.
Yeah,
and I try
yes.
and it's something that is so hard to preach to someone that has been stripped of, you know, his land and his fishing and his and
everything. Yeah. And that a government that has actually the resources, I mean, the state governments have had a lot of resources, but hasn't reached the people in the way it should. It's the same as we talk about Boko Haram in the part of the country I come from. I mean, I went to school in Maiduguri, and we did not have terrorists. So, you know, terrorists are not born. It's a sense of what happens of injustice and no hope. And so you just say, okay, you know, to hell, let everybody, you know, go.
But sorry to cut you off. You see, that's another thing. I also went to the north, and I also realized another thing about the Boko Haram situation, right? It's the same thing. Yeah. It's the same thing as what's going on in the Niger Delta. These kids, yeah, you have so many kids called Almajiris, yeah, right? And it's like, what do you want them to turn out to be? Like, you've given them nothing else. Yeah. So these are the real problems, that our youth have been reduced to such hopelessness, yeah, that it's so easy to turn them into whatever at this point.
Yeah.
To monsters. It's crazy.
I talk about Nigeria with you because I know that it's a lived experience that both of us have, but it is a microcosm of what is happening in the rest of the continent, and to a degree in the world, because I mean, we saw in New York where the inequalities here, the discriminations. So, you know, across the world, we are not at peace with what we need to be doing. And so, you know, you have a voice now that has a following where people will listen. You're an influencer. And so how do you speak to the world from your lived reality of seeing injustice around in different forms, whether it is Niger Delta or you know, the North?
I mean, for me, I'm the most realistic and realist person you'll ever meet. I don't know how to sugarcoat anything, and I don't know how to be politically correct. So this is why I usually don't have these conversations. I just put them in music. You know, I'll end up getting in trouble.
Well, I think that's something, maybe perhaps that's a Nigerian trait, because often people ask me, well, you know, diplomacy, and it's not in my vocabulary because we don't have time for long English. We really need to get to the. We need to, yeah. Well, I'm really grateful that you've joined us. I hope it won't just be a one-off, and that you continue to work with the UN.
I'm always here. I'm one call away. I'm ready. You know, as long as it takes us forward, I'm willing to do it. You know.
Well, we very much appreciate it, because, you know, people will, sometimes you will communicate much better than we do. I think that we've got good stuff to sell, but sometimes it's difficult for us to sell it. As I say, the grammar is very long, and it doesn't connect all the time. But your role in society today, you know, we wish you well, and we're really happy to partner with you. And you know, the fight for what we want, which is a much more peaceful and equitable world, goes on. And it's not difficult to get. We have never had so much in our hands as a world, with technology, you know, with the number of young people who have got lots of energy and vision. And, you know, quite frankly, a lot of infrastructure that we can improve upon, and that we can get, you know, bigger and better cities and connect. So I don't know, when people say that things are so bad, I think, well, that's why things need to be better. And that we can, the power really is in your generation. the generation behind you. That's where the power is. What we have to do is to help to convene it, to help to guide it, because I think the idea that everybody knows, or you ask somebody and say, well, ask them what they want. Well, if they don't know what is available and they don't know how to access it, how will they know what they want?
Exactly.
So it's and then you tell them what they want, and that's not really it. You just need to give them options. You need to give them knowledge. You need to educate, so that they understand what the possibilities are, and they can make the impossible possible.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's the power we need.
Yeah. Well, I hope you have a really good weekend, and keep singing for us. We're very proud of you, and look forward to seeing you one day that is not virtual, because this virtual.
I pray for that day too.
One day.
If you're feeling like you can't level up, I'ma make you not stop at all, because right when you stop feeling